I asked my husband to turn down his dream job for my career. So my husband Jake was unemployed for like 6 months after quitting his job right before COVID hit. I make $200,000 at this cybersecurity firm that specializes in protecting high-profile clients. Think A-list celebrities, Fortune 500 CEOs, that level. My salary was basically keeping us afloat in our expensive city while he job hunted. The thing about my work is that it's insanely secretive. I've signed so many NDAs I could wallpaper our apartment with them. Clients trust us because we're completely locked down. Background checks on everyone, security clearances, the works. One slip and not only do I lose my job, I'm blacklisted from the entire industry forever. Jake finally gets an interview at this digital marketing agency called Dataflow Solutions. He's so excited because they work with social media influencers and content creators, stuff he's always been passionate about. The pay was decent, $65,000, which would help us breathe a little easier. But then he tells me who their biggest client is, TechLeaks. My stomach dropped. TechLeaks is basically the TMZ of the tech world. They expose corporate secrets, leak private info about executives, and publish stuff that companies pay millions to keep quiet. They're literally our worst nightmare client-wise. I explained to Jake that if he worked there, I'd be done. My company would fire me instantly if they found out my husband worked for what they consider an enemy organization. Even if Jake never touched my work stuff, just the association would destroy my credibility. He got really defensive and said I was being dramatic, that it was just marketing work, not actual journalism. But I knew better. These places, everyone wears multiple hats. Today you're doing Instagram posts, tomorrow they want you to help dig up dirt on some CEO. I begged him not to take it. I even offered to support him through more school, or while he looked for something else. We could tighten our budget, I could pick up freelance work on weekends, whatever it took. But Jake went behind my back and continued the interview process anyway. He said his career mattered too, and that I was being controlling. When he got the offer, he was ready to accept it without even telling me. I found out because he left the email open on our shared laptop. The offer letter was right there, along with his draft acceptance email. I completely lost it, not just because of the job, but because he'd been lying to me for weeks, going to interviews, talking to their HR, negotiating salary, all while pretending he was still looking at other options. That night, I called my boss and explained the situation. She thanked me for the heads up and said they'd need documentation that I'd tried to prevent this conflict of interest. So I forwarded Jake's offer email and explained I'd asked him to decline. When Jake came home, I was packed and ready. I told him he could take the job and I'd be gone by morning, or he could decline it and we could work through this. He called me crazy and said no job was worth this level of drama. But then he paused and asked what I meant by gone by morning. I showed him the divorce papers I'd already started filling out online. My company's legal team had recommended I protect myself immediately if he took the job. His face went white. He realized I wasn't bluffing or being dramatic. This was actually going to end our marriage. He declined the job that night. I watched him type the email and hit send, but the damage was already done. He'd shown me that he was willing to risk everything we'd built together for a job at a company that could destroy my livelihood. We tried counseling for a few months, but Jake resented me for controlling his career. He'd make passive-aggressive comments about how I forced him to give up his dreams. Meanwhile, I couldn't trust him anymore. What else would he hide from me if it benefited him? We separated 6 months later.